Today I'm excited to show you something I've been kind of looking around for a while. I've been looking for a tent with some versatility. I typically will use a tarp, lean-to, some type of design with that, something I can light a fire near. But I also like a tent. I like the fact that I can zip something up and keep the bugs out at night. So I'm kind of torn between tarps and tents in that regard. Also love hammock camping, but this one's about a tent today. I was looking for something that would meet all those specifications, but that as well as I could sleep in by myself if I go up bushcrafting, if I go on a simple couple-day hike, or if I have like my son or somebody else with me that we can set up a camp together. So today I'm going to show you that. What I'm going to do is look up on this ridge here. I think I'm going to find a spot somewhere up there that we can set up. There's a lot of trees. I'm going to set up a ridge line and show you how I'm going to set this tent up today. Okay, so let's go for just a quick hike up here. I've been hiking for just a little ways now, and it's a beautiful day out, about 55 degrees, and it's a good day to be out into the woods enjoying nature. Get some of these bigger sticks out of the way. I'm not staying overnight here, so I'm going to lay down a tarp. If I were here overnight, I probably would clear more of this area out, make sure nothing is poking through the bottom of the tarp or the tent, and but this is gonna be good. Let me show you what I got. So here it is, tent. This is the OneTigris Bungalow. They call this the Orca 3-season tent now. I think they changed the name of it because they came out with a newer style, which is the Bushcraft 2.0, which is a nice tent, and I am going to get that tent as well. But I really like this tent for a couple reasons. For 3-season camping, and also I can probably give this one to my son. I will get the other one in probably the green color. So the other thing I have with me, I'm going to do is this is my tarp, and this is the Ultralight outdoor tarp. I really like these. These are great for throwing overhead. They're about a 5x7 size. You can make a small shelter with this. The purpose I ended up getting this was mainly for a tarp underneath, not a tarp, but a ground cloth underneath my tent. Let's get this set up. All right, so I got laid out. Here's what it comes with. It comes with 8 of these stakes and several of these rope. And I've heard some people complain about this rope. I mean, it's a tent. It comes with a little bit of rope. I mean, it's so easy to replace it with some good cordage. I've got some paracord that I'll probably end up using later, but for now I'm going to use this. I'll use that for my ridge line. It comes with enough of these, counting 4 right there, 5. I'll show you what those are used for. And it comes with 8 stakes. And I wish it came with a couple extra, but I'll go through that in a little bit. Okay, so for now, let's set up our ridge line. And there's 2 different configurations you can set this up in. One's a ridge line, and the other way would be with trekking poles or some type of pole. So I just got, okay, and this will not run this here on my ridge line. I'm putting this right at about 4 feet right now, and that was just a simple bowline knot on that end. I'm not going to tie this too tight yet because I want to get, it's a little bit tricky to set it up like this. I think it's easier to set it up with your line, with your ridge line up, and then try to center it up over that so your tent doesn't look a little bit wonky. But if I were setting this up with the trekking poles, or you can cut poles out of the woods, I would stake the 4 corners down first. I've tried it both ways, and this tends to be the way that works best for me right now. Pull this through. I'll just do a simple trucker's hitch on this side. That way I can control the tension on it. Wait. I'm not going to tie it too tight right now until we get the tension on our tent. This cord's pretty long. I made it so it could stretch between 2 tents at two trees at a good distance from each other. So I'm gonna leave that loose right now. And I'm just gonna see how I can line this tent up between these two. It's a little bit tricky. I like this ground cloth. Works out really well. Set my stakes over here. Don't lose those. Poles over here. All right, let's set this up. It can be a little awkward figuring out what side is front and what side is back, but I just look for the screen, and then here's a little window right here, and then I'm going to put it here. Try to tie a simple press it knot on this just so I can keep it through there and get this all kind of tightened up. Now that I got my line up, let me tighten this up a little bit. Might be a little bit too tall. So there it is as a base tent. See what I mean by it's a little bit hard to get a straight line between the two trees, but you play with it a little bit. And I'm going to finish setting this up. This is with it down. I want to show you something to you really quick. This unzips. And you've got a little vestibule in here that when you zip it up at night, you can put your boots out here or straighten this out a little bit. And so you still have some airflow. You have an outside and an inside. So cut some piece of wood and I'll cut the rest up. tie a simple bowline on here. I like to do it like this. Sometime I'll show that to you. This is what I like about this tent, is it has the features of a tarp, but yet it can be a tent. And we'll say these stakes are really too small, so I'll end up replacing these too, but it came with some stakes. That's a plus, right? They just don't stick in the ground very, not in soft, leafy soil. Anyways, tighten this up. Now if it's raining, I'd probably have to set this side lower so the water could drain off one side. Just want some shade. The wind's coming from this direction over here. I've been considering here, I'd clear this area out and I could build I could have like my little Bushcraft stove, or I could have a fire just a little bit out right about here, safe, away from this. But that's basically it. One more thing I'm going to show you. There's a spot on the back. This only came with 8 stakes, but it really needs 11 at minimum. It'd be nice to have 12. And I say 11 at minimum This tent only came with 8 stakes. It should have came with 11 minimum, maybe preferably 12. And the reason why is you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, then you got 5 and 6, which pull out the vestibule area. All right. And then 7, 8 for if you want to do this. What it doesn't leave account for is if I was setting up with poles on either side and I want to do it at the same time, I'd need 2 additional stakes on either side, and that would make it 10 stakes. But on the back side there's an area, I'll go tie it out and I'll show it to you, that pulls out the tent to the rear, which I like, and it gives you more room inside. And as you can see, I'm out of stakes. Luckily I brought another one with me. I like these. I think there's like 75 cents a piece at Walmart. You can buy them on Amazon, and I think sets of 12. That's typically a good set to get, is about 12 of these at a time. All right, let's take a look at the camp real quick. Okay, there you have it. This is the OneTigris Backwoods Bungalow. And I think they now call it the Black Orca 3-season tent. And this tent measures 6.5 feet long. That's 4.1 feet wide and 3.7 feet high. And I'll show you what that looks like. Tell you what I do like about it. It seems like it's good quality. I heard the newer tent is a little bit better quality of a ripstop nylon, and also lighter. Looking at the seams all look pretty good. I like the tent. I didn't buy this for any survival situation. I just bought it for going out into the woods and playing. I think I will get the other one. Matter of fact, I know I'm going to get the other one in a dark green And I really do think that this could be a simple shelter for a bug out tent. It doubles as a tarp lean-to. I could make this higher. I can make it lower. I can zip it down. I can get some airflow. That's why it's got, if you'll look, it has these two windows, one window on either side. And you can roll that up and put it up with a toggle. Okay, this is what I was talking about on the back side. So you can see I can run it down. I had to use an extra stake to pull that out. If I was not going between these two trees here, I would put up a pole right here and show you what that would look like. One other thing I didn't think was, they didn't put good knots on these. These knots do come undone, but you can just retie that. I did see that it comes with this extra zipper that goes the opposite direction. I'm not really sure what that's for. I was thinking when it's zipped down in the down position, that you could open that up and give some additional ventilation through the tent. All right. The one thing I do like about these lines being this color is you can see them. They're easier to see in low light, and you don't trip on them. So for safety reasons, I like it that way. I might just keep this tent that same way. My son would probably end up using this tent, and then if he chooses to swap out the cordage, he can do that as well. But decent zippers. You can see it's got two zippers on it. I can unzip this all the way, and it gives me quite a bit of room in here. See, I got some static clean going right now into this tent. Let me climb in there and show you. Now you can roll this up. One thing I have found with rolling this up, I'm just going to keep it simple. Out of the way. These little toggles could be a little bit longer, so I'm just going to slip it through there. That wasn't too difficult. Same thing for this side. Slip this toggle through there. It's a little bit tight, tricky, but maybe that's a good thing. You can see I can climb in here. I got a good distance. So that's 4 feet across. Plenty of room. I'm 5'10", and there's plenty of room in here to sleep. I could play with the tent and get everything a little bit tighter if I wanted to. And I'd probably lift this up a little bit more. Be a little tight, but I could sleep in here with my son, who's a teenager, or my younger kids, or it'd be fine. My wife and I could even fit in here. Be nice. Yeah, I like it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I want to roll these windows down, or open it up for some ventilation, some cross ventilation. I've got to go outside and roll that up. So you can see it's got a zipper, which is, I think, is nice, plus the Velcro, and then just simply roll it up. And same thing here, you've got a toggle. If your hands are cold, I can see some challenges getting that to go in there. My hands are warm and it's a little bit challenging, but I'm glad they're there. So that gives me some cross ventilation. But that's it. Just come with these. You know, like I said, if I replace the cordage on that, I can easily put a tight line hitch on that. I prefer tight line hitches. Again, I can cut these. If I were going to cut another one, I cut one to show you as a demonstration. There's a couple ways you could do this. When I cut this one, I cut it at a height a little bit high, but I could still slip it through the this knot right there. But probably what I would do is tie a piece of, I'd probably tie the cord, I have to show it to you. I'd tie it to here and then down. So I tie the tent up to the cord and then back down to the ground. If I can even show that to you. See, so there we got some tent like that. That'd be one way. And you could tie that down. Let me see if I have some more. They did give enough of this cordage to do this. They just left out a couple stakes. I'll grab another stake. I'll show it to you real quick. I wasn't planning on doing this. Might look a little odd on camera, but I can easily tie this down. And do this. I'll tie that knot. I'll tie that bowline knot just a little bit slower. This it over that line, bring it around the back side of this one, and then pull it through. So I know it's hard to see on camera. All right. So from there, I could, because it's looped over there, I can just pull it down and I don't have to use it as a loop knot. I can go to the ground right here. Put my stake in the ground, kick it in a little bit, and there you got it. I got it like that. And let me show you another way to do that, which I was talking about earlier. You probably have to cut a notch in that. I'm gonna loosen this up. I'm gonna feed this through here, my bowline knot. Run the rope back through. All right, and then I can tie it, I usually do a couple twists around it like that. And go down. So, this is what I was referring to about if you wanted just to run it over to a rope. Run the rope around a stick, and that's going to hold. Unless you're in a strong windstorm or something like that, but that's going to be fine for most cases, and that looks good. And in this case, it's actually easier to have your tent kind of tighten it up so you're not trying to line it up between two of these ridge lines. But I do prefer the ridge line method because then I'm not bringing additional sticks with me. I don't have to cut anything down in the woods other than this. These can be tied up to a tree if you have some long enough cordage, and you really don't need anything other than the tent and the stakes and the rope. So that's my simple review of the Tigris One Bungalow Orca 3-season tent, as they call it. And again, what I do like about it is it's very versatile. It's set up similar to Bushcraft, which I like to do. It kind of combines the two things that I like, and that's a tarp with a tent. Not in all regards. Obviously, a tarp would be way more flexibility. But one thing I'm always torn between when I'm out in the summer camping is I like to have a screen to keep the bugs out. Things I don't like about it, I really don't not like anything about it. I think it's a great tent. I think it's perfect for what I need. I am going to buy the other tent because I think it kind of took some of the what the customers were saying about this tent, and they improved upon it, which I think is great. And I think it's going to allow better ventilation because the backside opens. It doesn't have the side windows, and they used better rope, better material for the tent, lighter material, and I think they put better knots on it. So there you have it. As I took this down, I thought you might want to see what it looks like with the vestibule. So if you look in here, you can see you got that area. Climb in there. I'll show you. And I took this down already, but normally that would be pulled out to the side, give me a little bit more room. So if I were to zip this up, at night, you see it gives you that area in there. I'll try to back up. Alright, so you can see this is inside the tent. You've got tent set up. Where this would be pulled back. I'd have that corner a little tighter back there, of course. And then you have this area here for boots, for airflow, for whatever, but you still have a screen here to keep any bugs out, any critters out. So I thought you might like to see that. That window's closed. This window is open right now. Good amount of room in here. I think it says 3.7 feet tall. It does have a hook here for light, which I do like. My last tent I had to sew one of those into it myself, so I just wanted a light to hang over the top. So if you actually have now that I'm looking at the tent from the inside here, I can see that I probably, if I were to stake it down to the ground, would stake it maybe at the far corners of the A. See how the A goes? But right now I got these two stretched and that's out. So maybe that would tighten it up a little bit more, or maybe give it a better shape there in the corner. But of course, whenever you put a tent up, you got to play with the stakes a little bit to get it to be tight. I just thought I'd show you what it looks like inside the tent. And I'm going to pack it back up because I'm not sleeping overnight tonight. But I will come back out here because I want a couple other products I want to show you guys. And what I thought I'd start doing is I buy so many of these different things because I like to test them out, I like to try them, that I would just start sharing with you my honest review of what I think of them. I do like this tent. Actually I found these toggles up here. Maybe they made some changes to it because they didn't seem like they were as tight as people made them sound like on previous reviews I heard. I didn't find that much trouble getting them. They could, of course, be longer and make it easier, but I didn't have any problem with it. The zippers are nice. I don't mind this cordage because I can find my zipper. How many of you ever tried to figure out where your zipper is and you couldn't find it? I do like the color. And then I can retie these and cinch any of these off I want. And then the other cordage I can replace, or I can just keep the cordage that came with the tent, so it's high visibility and I'm not as concerned with somebody tripping on these. I did not test these to find out if they're fluorescent at night under flashlight. I don't think they are. I don't think they glow in the dark or anything like that. Okay, all right, so that was my just thought I'd wrap up with that little tidbit of information. All right, hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll try to get more videos on here for you.